Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Enrique Fansal and I am the club professional. To my left, we've got Akona Ndungane, professional rugby player for the Bulls as well as the Springboks. And today he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. I've got some questions prepared for him. I hope he's ready for them. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, I can see. So let's start with it. How old were you when you started to play rugby?
I was, the first time I actually played, I was 14, but I watched the game because my dad used to play it.
Yeah.
So we grew up, my brothers and I, just going to watch my dad play. And in primary school, we never got a chance to play it, only in high school. So when I was 14, that's when I started to give it a go and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you get where you are now? What did you have to do? What did you have to sacrifice?
A lot. Yeah, I think, obviously starting in high school, in high school you're just playing with your mates. You never know how far you can go. And I think growing up in Umtata, we never knew about professional sports people. We just watched them on TV and we assumed that they had work on the side. And I think once I finished matric, then I got my first contract with EP Mighty Elephants back then, and then I could see that okay, yes, I'm getting paid for something that I enjoy, and I think for me what made us, myself, I always refer to us because I've got a twin brother who played as well. My dad, I think, instilled a lot of discipline when we were still young, because he was a sporty person. He used to wake us up in the morning, make us go run. So I think all those values that he helped us or instilled in us as kids, they helped me to be able to play at the level I did and to play for so long. I think it was discipline, enjoyment, I think first and foremost, and just obviously playing for the Bulls and winning trophies was also a bonus as well.
Yeah. Okay, so if you look back on your career, what is your first rugby memory that you can remember? Your first best memory?
My best memory has to be 2007, and purely because I think I would say the whole year actually 2007, because we played the Sharks in the final in Durban, and everyone knows the story. We were Sharks scored in the 78th minute, and we came back to win the game, and it's one of the first memories that I have of that year, and to be the first South African side to win a Super Rugby tournament was a big achievement for us as a team and for me as an individual. And to top off that year, we went to France and to win the World Cup. Yeah. So if I look at that year, for me, it was definitely the best rugby memory I'll have and I'll cherish for as long as I live.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So growing up, starting off your career, aspiring to the career, who was your role model and why?
Well, I mentioned my dad earlier in the interview, and I think he was my role model. And he played for a club in Umtata called the Wallabies. And he played fullback wing, very fast player. And just as a kid, I think you always look up to your father, and when you see him play and scoring tries and people cheering for him, you want to be that or emulate that. And fortunately for myself, I was able to play at that level, to score tries, and to have him coming to watch me as well now, like at Loftus and wherever we played. So he was my role model, and I think I owe him gratitude actually for being able to play at that level.
Yeah. And then, can you remember your first training session as a Springbok? Your first day going to the stadium,
Yes.
where you trained? It's your first day as a Springbok now.
Yeah. I don't actually remember the first training. I think it was all because it was still unreal at the time. But I remember the phone call though that I had. I was at Loftus. I think it was Oregon Hoskins then, who was the president of SARU, phoned me and he gave me the good news that I've been selected to be part of the Springboks. And it's a feeling that you can't explain.
It's like a hole-in-one for me.
Exactly. And it's something that you've been training and working hard for, and now you've done so much at the Bulls. So what's the next step? Obviously, it's the Springboks, and you put in so much work and you put in so much effort. And I think what helped me was that I was part of a team that was winning. So when I got the call, yes, I was over the moon, and I don't even remember the training, but I remember the first game I played for the Boks. It's a memory that a bittersweet one, because my first cap was against Australia in Brisbane, and it's a game that I think most South Africans want to forget about.
And then, what do you eat before a big match? Like, do you eat the night before? Do you eat just before the game? What do you eat? How do you eat?
Well, basically, I think what they usually want us to do is to have like pasta the night before, so it's good carbs. And then in the morning, I think, it depends on the type of person you are. Because for me, if let's say, for example, we're playing at Loftus at 5, wake up as late as I can, because I felt like if I wake up early, then the day is very long, and now my mind gets to overthink the game. But if I sleep late and then wake up late morning, just have eggs with maybe cold meat and something light, and then just before, because we come to the stadium 4 or 5 hours before, and then we'd have like a lunch there, so chicken with veggies, try and stay as light as possible.
Yes,
and I think for me that helped, because I had the energy, but I still felt light to be able to perform there.
Okay. Yeah. And then describe your perfect weekend. So if you think of the perfect weekend, what would it be for you?
Now?
Yes.
I was dead.
Well, let's say pre-COVID.
Oh, pre-COVID. Oh, okay. Perfect weekend. I think, weekend away with my wife, because I know she's going to watch this.
Yeah.
So maybe score some brownie points there. But I think, I love golf.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of golf, and playing golf with mates, it's something that I enjoy now, because I still think I still have that competitive edge.
Yes.
And my friends like to play and give it a go, and it's sort of like a satisfaction that you have if you get one over them. So I think having my wife going away, maybe to Cape Town or KZN, somewhere beautiful, and then they also have some beautiful courses, so to just top it off with a run of golf.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good. And then, what is a typical day in the life of a professional rugby player? Let's say a Monday.
Well, a Monday is usually quite busy, because obviously, we played the weekend before. So how we usually did the Mondays were, come there at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, do some either gym session. So what they did was they used to split us, have the forwards gym at 7, and then the backs go outside, maybe do some skill work, some light sort of training amongst the backs, and then an hour later, then we swap forwards, go outside, do some line-outs, and then we do gym work. And then after that, we usually take a break for, let's say, 2 hours, and then we come in at, let's say, 11 o'clock to actually do a review. Now we watch the game that we played, depending on how well we played. It's usually a very nice one, but so then we watch the game and we try and analyze what we did wrong, what we can improve on going forward, for, let's say, an hour and a half, depending on how well we played. And then obviously take a break, lunch break, go have lunch. And I think the nice thing about Loftus, we had Trademarks, the restaurant there next to Loftus, and there was also a place catered for the players to go and have lunch. So you basically spend the whole day there, and then after after lunch, you get maybe an hour or 2 off, and then we start training at 3 o'clock. Now that's a team training, and usually it's trying to work on the kicking game, work on some things that the coaches felt that we didn't do well on the weekend. And then that's like an hour and a half, depending on how sore the guys are. And how happy the coaches are. So it's basically a full day like that, and then obviously then after that you get to go home and spend some time with friends and family.
Okay. And then do you actually like hang out with your teammates? Do you spend time together after training or after work, if you can call it that, as extra?
Yeah, I think, you know, at the Bulls, it was quite something that, you know, Victor and Fori, the senior players, they drove that, and I think you could see the, you know, the sort of the haze amongst the players, because I think, you know, when you work hard with your teammates, then you need to, after that, go and enjoy yourself afterwards, because I feel like if you and I go to your house, we're gonna talk more about your personal life, because then that's how you get to know each other, that's how you get close to one another. So we had, you know, Bryce, and you know, the team also tried to have like a Bex day where, you know, we go out after a Wednesday and then go, you know, maybe watch a movie or do some sort of fun activity to just build that team camaraderie and, you know, just to get the players to know each other, because I think, you know, it helped us to become united and to understand one another, and I think it worked for us.
Okay. And then if you think about it, if you didn't play rugby, what would you be doing? Where would you have seen yourself?
I'll be very unhappy.
Very unhappy.
I'm kidding. No, I think if I didn't play, I would have been. I did study quantity surveying. My parents were very stressful on us to go make sure that you go study something, and because obviously I think playing rugby you play for about 10, 12, 13 if you're lucky. So you have to have something to fall back on. So when I was still just starting and playing on the 21s, I got time to study, but I didn't finish because obviously I think the further I went with my rugby, I didn't have time to put in the work with my studies. So I think if I had not been a professional rugby player, I would have been in construction.
Okay. Yeah. And then if you were to give a young aspiring rugby player one tip to make it, what would it be? Just one tip.
Just one, yes. It's a tough one. I think it's all about hard work for me. You know, because we all have talents, some more than others, but the harder you work, the more you become, the better you become actually at what you do. And I think Gary Player said, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Yeah, something like that. So I think for me, it's hard work, and hard work pays. Man, you can never go wrong with that.
Okay. And then what is next for you? What is your future goals from here on out? What do you want to achieve now?
From now, you know, besides, you know, doing some work for Supersport now, my brother and I have a foundation and an agency, player management company. And I think for me, what is important now is to, you know, give back. We've been fortunate enough, you know, to play at that level for so long, and I think the school fees that are paid, I can help up and coming youngsters, you know, just not to prevent them from making mistakes, but I think just to help them to try and not make the same mistakes I did. And I think, you know, it's something that I enjoy doing, and you know, looking forward to the next couple of years to see how many I can, you know, assist and hopefully make it to the highest level they can.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Why do you play golf?
Well, I think, you know, I started playing golf when I was still at the Bulls, and it was, for me, I felt it was something to just distress and to just get away from the game. And I remember, you know, the guys have been begging me to come out and play, and I never actually enjoyed it. I never used to watch it. But I think once I felt or started playing, and then I was out there with them, you know, we would forget about rugby and what happens outside that. You know, just focus there, what you're doing with your mates. And it felt for me sort of like an escape place that you can go to just get away and come back after that on a Thursday maybe, and feeling fresh, then you can focus on the game. And I think, you know, playing it for so long, and you start to enjoy it, and you start to, you know, and especially now that I'm no longer playing, you know, I still have something that I can compete with my mates.
Okay. And then getting to where we are at currently with the COVID, what do you think the impact is on sport locally and globally?
Yeah, it's huge. We can see, especially with, you know, here locally, overseas. I'll take the English Premier League. You know, playing behind closed doors. You know, you're losing so much revenue from those ticket sales or suite sales. And I remember there was a time where, you know, Saru gave players option 21-day window if you want to get an offer somewhere else, because obviously they had to do pay cuts. And you know, it's a devastating time for sports in general. And I think only in New Zealand that they managed to stop the spread of the virus so quickly. Now they're back to normal. They've got full stadiums. Their life is carrying on, and you can see actually the difference that it made as well. You know, after the pandemic, because now they're getting full stadiums. People are excited to go out, and you know, hopefully, you know, once we've overcome this pandemic, you know, people will enjoy the small things of going to the stadium and experiencing the games at the stadiums. But you know, it had a huge effect, and you know, depending on how the peak goes now in South Africa, you know, at least the teams have started training again. So they're talking about end August, beginning September to start the game. So I think at the moment we don't know where it's going.
Do you think that we can recover from this as not as a, I don't want to say it, not as a nation, but as a sport foundation, as rugby, as golf? Do you think these unions will be able to recover from it?
We can only hope, Enrico, and I think with help, because now government has to be involved. You know, we can't just rely on corporate, because we see they're also struggling. So, you know, government has to come in and assist, you know, golf foundations, you know, assist SARU, assist PSL, so that, you know, they can get the funds that they need to get back to the top again, because obviously you need those top players performing so that people, once it's over, once it's safe, they can go back to the fields and start watching. And you know, will we? I don't know. We can only hope. But you know, I think if we're positive, and you know, government has a plan with Golf Foundation, with other sporting codes as well, then I'm sure there will be a way that we can recover and hopefully get back to do what we enjoy and go support our teams.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I learned something from him today. I hope that you have. Enjoy your round today here at Copperleaf.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
fun.
you.